Hello and welcome to the Chilled Cardano podcast. I'm Illinois with my co-host Chilled Cardano on Twitter. I'm also here with Pineapple Pizza on Twitter. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good. How y'all doing today?
We're doing good.
Fantastical.
We're here to talk some false idols today. So
yes, sir.
It's exciting to get some updates there.
For sure.
What do we got coming down the pipeline?
Well, the main thing coming down the pipeline, which is, I'm the artist, so out of my wheelhouse, but Sean's been working on the Pyro Analytics tool. And, you got things like NFT Jungle, and you did have some other tools that I don't think panned out, like Guac Club, if I remember right, and then you had Retroheads. But Sean's he's an actual UI developer and working with Eternal right now, so.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Actually, that's what he's kind of doing. So, but I mean, just pulling data from the blockchain is probably the hardest thing to do and have it where it's not laggy. But he's made some good progress, and the UI is going to be intuitive. As you can tell from some of the, I think he launched the landing page a few weeks ago, just let people look at it. And he should be launching the logins this week, I think.
Let's take a look at
it. So they can at least log in and take a look at the chart. And stuff
Do you
like
need
that. Of course,
do you need a false idol to connect? I thought I saw.
Not for right now.
Okay.
Just when it's in beta, you could just anyone can just kind of look at it. But yeah, for the full use of the tool when it's finally out, you will need to have I think like one false idol
Gotcha.
to use the tool. And if you don't have a false idol, I think it's gonna be like subscription based or something like that, like TradingView.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
So
I've been wanting that idea to for somebody to make that forever. So it's kind of cool that once I saw that, I bought a couple false idols. Full transparency for the people out there. I do have some.
Is this
That's it, yeah.
Very cool.
Yep, and I got some of my illustration work on there. Like I made a little lady for Sean, something to look, very analytics tool looking.
Real-time price data, secure storage, free to holders.
So how would you explain this to somebody who's new to the space? How would somebody go about using this?
That's what I've been talking about, Sean, how to get the language to where, where the normal layman can use this tool, why they'd want it. Because, I used to leverage trade Bitcoin and Ethereum a few years ago in the last bull market. And using TradingView is not easy.
Oh, no.
It's very unintuitive. It's a dirty looking UI, but it gets the job done. So can you guys still see me or my camera cut out?
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
Okay, I just can't see it. Okay, cool. But for the normal layman, though, one of the things that would be beneficial, like, for example, I'm going to bring up Chainchillas because they're some of my favorite people to bring up. They just made it in the top 12, by the way, on trading volume on JPEG
Shout
Store.
out to Chainchillas, killing the game right now.
Yeah, absolutely killing it. But, for example, remember when they minted out really fast?
Yeah.
They'd been minting, and then just out of nowhere, for some reason, they just minted out really fast. This tool would have a mint velocity thing. And the mint velocity would show you hey, Chainchillas is popping for some reason. I hadn't been interested in minting one, but for some reason they're popping off right now. And you'd have that information before you see it on Twitter. Because by the time Twitter sees it, I was like, I want to mint me some more. I minted a few. It's just done. And so it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be live data. So it's, the problem with JPEG stores. Now, I will say NFT jungles it's a lot faster now though, but JPEG stores still is a little lagging. And it's hard too, because I think JPEG stores used to be every 24 hours when it would refresh the data. And then I think it's got 5 hours, something like that. But Sean's actually going to have it where it's live, so there's no lag at all.
So how does that work? Is he accessing a certain API, or did he make his own to read the chain data?
I think I know he's using two. I think he's using one that's a Web2 based thing.
Okay.
Which is the Oros and Scrolls, which is what he's working with.
Okay.
That communicates with the blockchain. Then he's working on another one. With another, I think I won't say who just yet.
Of course. So he's aggregating a bunch of sites to get this data.
Aggregate, exactly. Okay. So you need to have since we're still on Web2, you got to have a Web2 aggregate and a Block 3 aggregate to talk to each other. So then you're getting live data.
Very cool. And this is all his own thing. It's proprietary, so no one else is going to have this.
Yeah, he's even he was going to release the logins I think last week, and he decided to change it because he got some new help from someone, since he works at Eternal. You know, he knows a few other developers now. And if you ever notice, like when you go to JPEG store, at least for me, like have you noticed your wallet would like sign out or like lag? Sometimes you have to like reconnect your wallet.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, he's working on that so that it doesn't do that ever. And so he's like having to rescript just the login, so it's not, so you don't have any of those issues.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I hate when you're like looking at an NFT and then you click on it and the price is like 200 ADA difference, and you're like,
yeah. And one of the reasons you would think like, why is he working so hard on the login? You know, you think like just get the login out, let people look at it. It's like, well, it'd be really annoying to get the tool out, and you got some action going on, and it's like JPEG stores like, shit, I got to resync my wallet. And by the time that happens, maybe what you're trying to track has already popped off and you missed it. You want it to be as soon as you go on your PC and eventually your phone. He does have the phone app kind of worked out, but since there's not a lot of phone integration right now with Cardano, it's kind of just on the back burner till that gets a little better. But as soon as you log on your PC, or especially when you get to your phone, you don't want to be like, I gotta resync my wallet, it's being laggy. He wants it to be as smooth as possible, so when you use Pyro, that you choose it other than something else, essentially.
And this is going to be
gonna have like
sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Sorry. Is it gonna have like a portfolio tracker type thing?
Yeah, he's actually making a thing like your favorites. So like, for example, if you like Ape Society, if you like Boss Cat Rocket Club, if you like False Idols, Chain Chillers, whatever you like, you can say this to your favorites, because you do have traders that go to their favorites. And you could even he's going to pull up data for, like, if you ever look at CNFT store, is it CNFT store or CNFT tools? It'll show you like the floor price on like some of your assets, but then sometimes it's like the highest. It's not really the real value of what your NFT would be, but he's going to actually pull data so you can see like what sells. Because some people will list things on the floor. It's like, man, this thing just isn't selling, but it's below floor or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, actual data is like, why are people buying this? The floor price is their reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of tough to sift through all these communities, because I'm in like 60 plus Discord right now. I just purged some.
I know. It's crazy.
And, you can't keep up with all of it. I have a hard time keeping up with False Idols as is.
Yeah, there's always some announcement that you miss.
It's been getting crazy, just like, and I feel like the further and further we get into like Cardano NFT history, it's just gonna start to exponentially grow at some point, and you're gonna need people aggregating this data to really get like an idea of where the money's going and like what's popping and where the buzz is at. And it's kind of nice for people who do like to, like, let's be honest, like people like to flip NFTs. It's not always about holding. And
and I'm not a big flipper.
Yeah.
Anymore, I used to. I've never really been a flipper in NFTs, but like I said, I used to leverage trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I stopped doing that because I'd get the Bybit sweats. Is it the old leverage trading shares at Bybit? Yeah, I used to get the Bybit sweats. I'd have leverage trades like, I'm going to set this thing. I'm going to have my stop loss in place and like my limit sell in place. I'd be waking up at like 3 a.m. Like, see if that stop loss or that limit sell hit.
Waking up in the middle of the night. Oh god.
And I stay up late as it is anyway. Being an artist, so I'm always working on something. So I can't do both. That was a fun time when I leverage trade, and that's cool. And like for NFTs, I'm not interested in flipping. Now, it doesn't mean I won't sell any.
Yeah.
But I like to collect.
Yeah.
And I think they're just cool. And like, for me, there's a few I'd make exceptions for, but like if I can't get past the art, I probably won't get into it. Now, I will say exceptions like Wild Tangs or like Dirt Birds. At least Dirt Birds, I think their art was kind of charming, but then they had like the upgrade, which was really badass.
Yeah.
And then Wild Tangs, I think Wild Tangs could do something similar, because I know there's just a bunch of devs, but I'd like to actually see like a Wild Tangs like upgrade.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I've always liked Wild Tangs just because of like their use cases. They're all developers and they're making really cool shit. But then like the artwork wasn't. I know I minted one and I showed Eric, and he gave me all types of shit just because he did not like the art.
I didn't know anything about it. I was like, those look horrible. But and then they popped off, so I guess I was the asshole.
Yeah, I still got to pick one up, by the way. I've been meaning to pick one up. I just haven't done it. I think the last few big purchases I made, I think, were was it a Yummy? I think I may have got some more Jesus too. And what else was it I bought? I bought something.
Did you get any Ore?
No, I still can't pull the trigger on Ore.
Yeah.
I like Ore, but I'm really picky when it comes to anime art. And he's a good artist, by the way. I've seen his Instagram. I just feel that the art's just not for me.
Right. Shots fired. You heard it here first.
But yeah.
No, he's on my side, Mike.
Yeah. I'm not going to FUD or anything. They're great. They're a great project, great artist. Just not for me. That's all.
Yeah, no, but I'm loving this like evolution in NFTs where we're starting to get use cases to like not only hold it because you like the art, but then it opens up doors and like utilities that other NFT. I mean, let's be honest, like it's kind of a competition. Like you can say you like this art better than this art, but like if this art is also opening doors for you to like utilize analytics to like make better purchases for yourself and make better moves, like that's great utility. And it also increases the price of the NFT, you know. So I love the combination. This is what's so cool about this space is not only getting like really great art, but also like connecting it with utilities and different use cases. And I think that just opens up so many more doorways that people just aren't like paying attention to. So that's why I'm so glad to have you on today, just to talk about this stuff and to show what's possible with NFTs too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wish Sean was here to explain some of this, but he had something come up. He's had a hard weekend, so. But you know, life is what it is.
Of course.
But maybe we can get him on again.
Yeah,
I know
of course.
He's been super stressed. He's been doing False Idols. He's been working at Eternal full time, by the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And yeah, it's which he can't share anything he's working on with me. He's in a
NDA.
Was it NDA? Yeah. So I know he's doing the UI. That's all I know.
You're just like blink once if you're working on this.
Yeah. So he's been working on that full time, and then he's got his whole personal life. But he's good though. He just had some stuff going today.
No worries, man.
What about
What
about you? What as far as art? Like what do you got going on?
So I'm working on a 1-of-1 collection currently.
Very cool.
And I'm not going to share anything until maybe next week or the week after, because I am planning on getting someone else involved.
Okay.
Because I want to do something a little bit different. But if you ever look at, and of course I can't really share anything on my screen right now because it's being laggy. But you can go to tabooedartstudio.com. That's my main website, and you can kind of see what kind of artwork I do. Yeah, I think y'all seen it before. I do more like painterly stuff. Of course, I do the False Idols cartoony stuff, and I've done portraits and whatever needs to be done. I seem like to be that artist who like, you can paint this, right? I was like, yep.
Yeah.
But now with the 1-of-1 kind of art thing kind of going on the blockchain, I was like, well, I really want to get on this and kind of grow an audience. Yep, that is me right there. And you can kind of see, if you go to like creature illustrations, you can kind of see more what I personally like to do. Stuff
you were
like
working
that.
with the church too like at a point, right?
At a point, yeah. I did a little bit of community managing for them, and I still help out every once in a while, but I don't want to get any kind of drama or anything like that. But you got 8 aquariums in his own thing, Bubblegum's kind of doing her own thing, so it's really just one person out of the lock that's you can only do so much until you just spinning your wheels. Yeah.
Understandable. I love the Witch movie, just by the way, so props to like making some...
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies. And the faces, if you look at the faces, that'll probably be more of what my 1-of-1s look like.
The faces
but
of...
not quite. Yeah, there's at the bottom, it's like the very painterly.
Those guys?
The person with the crown. Okay. Yeah. Stuff like that. Very dark and like macabre.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, the one I'm working on right now, I got a title for it. It's called Paradox. And people was like, why Paradox? Like, it's like, well, I've told the story a few times since I've been talking about it. Do you know where the origins of the word paradox comes from?
No, tell us.
It's Greek. And you wouldn't believe me. It comes from boxing.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so back in the Greek days when you did boxing, one, they didn't have gloves, so they just wrapped their knuckles like in like cloth, good enough. And then not only did they box just, with no gloves, basically, fist to face, they did circuit style boxing. So you would do like, they have like 20, 30 guys, and then as soon as you finish the match, you're getting paired up again.
Oh, wow.
It's not like, okay, won the battle, going home. It's like, yeah, you just won, but you've got, as soon as you get 20, you still got 10 other opponents potentially.
God.
And then 5, so you have to keep going, especially bare knuckle. Basically, it was rough, and that's why. Yeah, and they said paradox comes from boxing because like you won the championship, but what did you get? You got the shit kicked out of you, but yet you're a winner.
Yeah, and you still got to keep going.
Yeah. So that's where paradox comes from. So you can kind of get an idea where I'm going with that painting.
Yeah.
So are your one-on-ones going to have some type of theme, or is it just going to be like more like a free association?
I'm going to do a few different collections, but definitely the first one is going to be more I won't say anxiety, but just kind of like, I'm a very intuitive painter.
Okay.
But it'll all have that same style, kind of ethereal, haunting, kind of macabre looking stuff. And then I may do some, brighter stuff once I get tired of that. But I want to keep it all in a different collection. And whatever I name the collection, like, when you go to this collection, you're getting this from Pineapple.
Yeah.
If you go to another collection, you're getting, it's going to have a theme to it. And before, it's funny enough, before I got in the NFT space, which was last April, I was actually about to start preparing for a gallery show, which I didn't even pull the trigger on. It was basically just in its conceptual phases. I was going to do a gallery show on the Divine Comedy, because I just read the Divine Comedy. It's like, wow, there's so much good imagery in here.
Mm-hmm.
And all the illustrations are very outdated.
What's the Divine Comedy?
Old. So the Divine Comedy is by Dante Alighieri.
Okay.
And so you may know it. The most famous book from it is like Dante's Inferno.
Oh, okay.
Dante's Journey to Hell. But then you got 3 other books in there. You've got I'm probably gonna burst the names. I think you got Purgatorio, and Purgatorio is obviously purgatory, and then you got Paradiso, which is heaven. But the most famous one, of course, is Dante's Inferno, because people's like, oh yeah, I got all the hell going on, and you got all the torture and 13 layers of hell. I think it's 13 layers.
Yeah.
Of hell. But some of the
is it any of this stuff or no?
Yeah, that's the right source material. But obviously, like my like if you see that one at the top, 4th one over with the red looking plug, that looks very Renaissance-y.
This guy?
Yeah.
Kind of art, yeah. That looks very traditional. And that would be Dante Alighieri himself right there. Which, by the way, Dante Alighieri is his own character in the book.
Oh.
And sometimes he's almost like a narcissist, which is hilarious because it's like himself. And basically, the best way to describe the Divine Comedy, because a lot of what comes from the Divine Comedy, people believe in actually like some Christianity today, like how hell is ruled and how it works, or like heaven and purgatory comes from the Divine Comedy, but it's basically like biblical fan fiction. Is the best way to describe it. And Dante,
that's where we get a lot of our
and Dante
ideas.
he puts himself right in the middle of it. And it's hilarious because I was like, man, the hubris on this guy. But then it's kind of worth it though, because as you get through the story, like Dante actually humbles himself through the journey, which is odd because he is his own character, but he's also humbling himself throughout the story. It's a very neat read. And you need to get a good.
When was this written?
1400s, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's fairly new.
You need to get a good translation. Yeah,
modern.
Fairly new. Well, I guess it is fairly new. I mean, if you compare it to something like what is the oldest written
Please,
text?
no spoilers.
Hieroglyphs or
no, it's not hieroglyphs. It's cuneiform. It's the story, the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
It's pretty old because that'd be BC. So I mean, in context, 1400 is fairly new.
Wow, we're getting deep today.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of like your inspiration for this one of one collection?
Not particularly this one, but I am going to bring it in maybe another one because I still want to do that, and I might just like Book.io. It's really popular right now. All they're doing is just, which I don't want to. That sounds bad when I'm saying like that. All they're doing, but basically what they're doing, they have these really cool covers, and they're using stuff that's in public domain. And it's
as the cover art.
No, the cover art I think it's all AI generated, but it comes with the book, like I guess a PDF. But it's
I was always curious about that because I was like, they're just
so it's hosted. It's hosted on their server, so you get the NFT to have access to the read.
Even though it's free domain, like you could just go Google it.
You could just go Google it, yeah. So you can do the same thing with the Divine Comedy, but if you're going to do that though, I think it'd be cooler. That's what I was going to do. I was going to make these all illustrations, book size, but I forget the measurements. But I was going to make them pretty big. I was going to do them all graphite with color. But I was like, it'd be kind of cool if you had like one of one art, and you had the Divine Comedy with the best translation. And then sold it. At least you're getting one of one art plus the source material if you want to bother reading with it.
Yeah.
And that'd be kind of cool. But I would want to. This is what I've been wanting to do, but I mean, I don't have the capital or the means to do it. But I'd love to have a decentralized web storage on Cardano blockchain, like Filecoin on Ethereum. So instead of hosting, Book.io hosts from like their Web2 website, which is cool. But what happens if that website or that server like goes under? Well, then you have an NFT that goes nowhere.
And we do have a couple. I mean, like there's I don't know if you've looked into it, but like I think it's pronounced Igon or Egon, IAGON. They're doing like clouds, storage, decentralized storage for.
Good.
I don't know how far they are with it though. I mean, it's been a while since I've looked into it, but. They do have a token.
In progress. I would be interested in using them because if it runs on the Cardano blockchain as a layer 2, then theoretically, even if Igon goes down, it's still stored on blockchain, so you should be able to still view it forever.
Right. Yeah. No, it's really cool. And then also there's like Rwave too. I know it's its own blockchain, but I know a lot of people use that for their images for NFTs. But I don't know if. It's implemented.
Did you guys see the other day like 60% of Cardano's like nodes went down or something, and then but it still stayed up because we're decentralized.
Yeah,
so that was
nice.
Interesting to see.
The graph on it's pretty insane too. It's like the whole thing almost like goes down, but it's like
nosedive.
And
that's the thing.
No one even noticed.
Cardano gets this whole rap for being a ghost chain because that took so long to develop any of their things. But it's like, you gotta understand, the nature of Charles, because I think people sometimes forget it's him, of course, Vitalik, and then who was the other guy that worked on Ethereum that does?
It's like Gavin Lloyd, who made Poly.
Yeah.
What's it called?
What was the name of that?
Polkadot.
Gavin Polkadot. Yeah, it's Polkadot.
There's like 6 guys.
Of course, and then you got Charles Hoskinson, of course, of Cardano. And so he worked on Ethereum. Then he kind of learned because him and Vitalik, argued back and forth. Basically, the Ethereum has that problem. It's like release it, fix it later.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles was like, well, why don't you just develop it?
Well, not only that, but Charles was like, let's have a foundation to, have funds, resources so that we can continue this thing in a bear market or a bull market regardless.
Bull market, yeah.
Right? And that's kind of what we
have. And that's the reason I love Cardano the most because, you can buy a bunch of coins during a bull market and make money. And even, especially if you buy them before, if you get lucky, but especially in the bull market, I mean, hell, you could buy wrapped Shiba on Polygon or something and still make get a bit of money. That's just bull markets for you. But Cardano, the reason I was interested in it because I can actually see this being used day to day.
Yeah,
it's not just a let's
get rich quick
pump
scheme
up for the sake of pumping it. And I would say and Bitcoin's good too because without Bitcoin we wouldn't be here. But I will say it is just what it is, just a store of value. There's no smart contracts. There's no
It's so hard.
Anything going on Yeah.
Well, like, and the funny thing is they're always
Just
trying to
fine.
make like some type of layer 2 thing, like Lightning, and God bless them, but there's always going to be like a centralized force on that, and so like Bitcoin's never, like, you're always going to have to trust somebody. So that's why I love smart contracts so much better, because it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, like, the things that are connecting to that blockchain are going to be some type of a small business, and you do have to trust that person at a certain point, like when you're using MintSwap, or when you're using JPEG Store to list your NFTs. But it's so much more decentralized, and it's so much better to list one asset or one thing as opposed to like having your whole wallet connected, right? And being able to like have all your assets being at, you know, some point taken away from you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Cause I mean, that'd really suck if, you know, you spend all this time in the Cardano ecosystem, and then one day, you know, it just gets the plug pulled, and, you know, everything you've got are just broken links and whatnot. And I think that's something that I think a lot of projects are going to have to do later, including False Idols, is like, I don't know who we use for our hosting for the NFT images, but I would like it the one day to be like under, like, you know, if you say if Igon's a solution where
Yeah.
you're hosting your images from there and not from something like Pinata or whoever False Idols. I know the Chargers use Pinata, I think, for their image hosting.
But I love that
Yeah.
too, like being able to decentralize that cloud storage too, because then everybody gets to, like, if they have a token or something, like everyone gets to participate in it too, right? And then theoretically speaking, like if one server goes down, you still have a bunch of other ones that are hosting that image, so you can
Hosting
always
it, yeah.
get
And
access
that's
to
the
it.
point of doing, you know, cloud storage on Cardano, so you can always have access to it. Even if that server goes down, there's still access to it that's built into the system. It's like, you know, something that I fear with like Google one day, or even like Amazon Web Services. Like, I have a bunch of stuff like on the cloud, like, you know, mainly just like files. Like, I'll upload it to like my Google Drive, and then I'll download it on my phone for hosting, or, you know, I share something with somebody from my Google Drive. It's very useful. But what happens when Google's like, we're just going to pull the plug, all that stuff goes away,
or you say something, or your artwork is controversial,
yeah.
right? They don't like your artwork and they just take it down because it's too,
and that's very possible,
FW,
because you know, which I'm not really on any like particular aisle, but if you remember the whole Parler thing, Parler got taken off the Google Play Store and the Apple app, just for being a threat as competition and who they were allowing on their platforms. Which, you know, you may not agree with or whatever, but, you know, I believe platforms should be open to all, even people I don't like.
right?
And I think that was a big time here. It's like, wow, they really just like, yeah, we don't want you on our app store. And, you know, Parler now is just done. You know, it's not working. And I didn't really like the app, but the point is that it was competition, and they just kind of like squashed it.
Yeah.
It's hard,
Where a lot
man.
of Mike's friends hung out.
I didn't want to put this out there, but Eric was like at the Capitol January 6th. So
Really?
I was vending hot dogs though.
I mean, were you? I bet you were with the QAnon shaman, weren't you?
Yeah. I was actually. I was holding his long robe behind him, but
I mean, it's
wasn't
hard
in
not
a lot
to.
of pictures.
I mean, he definitely had a presence to him, you know, an otherworldliness to him.
Yeah.
Nah, that was a strange time. I remember when that happened. I actually was fishing in the Keys. I went with a buddy. He's got a house down there, or used to have a house down there. And I think I was working on actually a bunch of art. It was right after Christmas, and we went down to the Keys. Like, everyone take a break. I remember on January 6th, we went offshore. We went fishing, and then, you know, when you're out there in the Keys, and the Keys is notorious for just not having great cell phone reception anyway. So especially when you go, you know, 20 miles off coast, you know, and my friend's boat, which is just him and I and the seagulls and the albatross trying to eat all my damn bait.
Yeah.
But, you know, you come back on the shore and you see what's happened on January 6th. I'm like, I leave for 6 hours, and this is what happened.
The world has changed.
It's crazy.
I just remember being like in disbelief. I was like, is this my life? Like, this is happening in my lifetime. This is insane.
Yeah, I remember my phone's like blowing up. I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, but that was definitely a crazy time. But also to pivot back to False Idols, something else that's been released next month is actually our animation drop, which is free to all holders because it's just an animation of your previous like False Idol, and those are really cool. We've got a trailer on our Twitter. It should be pinned. I know it's pinned on mine, and you kind of see the animations. And I think, well, since Sean's not here, I think the way it's going to work with Ada Anvil is doing the mint and the animation generation. So you will get.
Sorry.
You will. That's okay. You will get.
Is this it?
Yes, this is it. Yes, it's the trailer.
Should I put the music on, or?
You can put the music on if you want to.
Pretty cool.
Nice.
Did you help with that?
Not the trailer, but yeah, I did actually help with the head assets. So when the head assets were drawn originally, so with animation, as you see, like when the head assets are like moving,
yeah,
you know, typically, you know, it's layered on top. So for example, like the halo is a good example with Corky. The halo is cut off because it's going behind the bottle. Well, if you're gonna have it move, you're gonna have like some weird like gaps because like, oh yeah, the image is cut off. So I had to go back on a lot of the head assets and draw the full asset so that the animator had freedom to move it how you wanted to. And like with some of them, I don't think he did it, but I mean like with some of those bands and the beanies, he could have actually made the beanie pop off if he wanted to because I drew the back of it, just so that he had that much control with the asset. Yeah. And I did that for all 13 characters, which is like 30 plus traits per head and face. I did the face ones too. Redraw it. So it was like 900 times I had to redraw something.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, just so that he had, you know, good control of the, like the eyes and stuff, like when they move and stuff like that, you don't want them to, because you can stretch them, but then if it like clips, there's that weird gap. You got to have more room for him to play, because you can always just mask it in After Effects.
It looks good though.
Yeah, it looks really good, and I can't wait for that. So the files are the NFTs. So it's gonna be a different collection because the False Idols policy ID is locked, so you can't burn them. So it's just gonna be a separate policy ID, but we're gonna have it. The way it was explained to me last time, when you stake with Anvil, just stake all your assets, and then when you get it, you'll get your idol plus your new NFT back, which would be in the new policy ID, and you'll receive a GIF file and an MP4 file, which is the first time being done, by the way, generated MP4 files. You can do generated GIF, but somehow Anvil's figured out a way to generate the MP4 file. So that's the first time like actual animation files have been generated.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So are you burning then? So if you stake it with Anvil, are you burning your original and then you'll be getting a new NFT?
No, you still get to have the original, but you just get a second policy ID with the animations on them.
Okay.
Because you can't burn the original collection because the policy ID is locked. And that's what Dirtbirds did. No Shade of Dirtbirds, their policy with ID was locked. So the way they did theirs is that NFT went to I guess like a burn wallet or like a different wallet, like a ledger. And then you have the Dirtbirds, the new Dirtbirds collection is the old art, the new art, and then like the PNG head. But then, you know, of course, their community seems like they don't mind it, but like I'm afraid with like our community or any other community is that if you do it like that, you essentially have two of the same thing on each blockchain. So if you had the static image plus the animation plus the GIF and MP4 files, that you'd have people like, well, there's OG False Idols, but then you get the animated False Idols, which has the same static image on it. There's two of the same thing, which is what Dirtbirds has, but they're in like a ledger and you can't buy them anyway. So since our policy ID is locked, I think that's the best way to move forward. Is like, well, it's an animated version, so it's not the same thing, you know, it's an animated.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not really paying for it, right? It's just
and I mean, if I could retroactively do it, I just wish our policy ID was open. That'd be the simplest way to do it. So you can just burn them, and then in the same policy ID, you would just have the updated, basically metadata.
So would you recommend?
But I think when Sean.
People keeping their policy open for their NFT collections?
Yeah. So, you know, people, I remember there's this big debate on policy ideas. I think people were afraid like you could just change the image, or you could like, you know, just rug or whatever. But the reason, so there's 3 reasons. Like for my one-of-one art, I will probably close the policy ID or leave it open for a time in case I wanted to do something. But yeah, but I think if you're like a big NFT project and you want to bring something new to the collection, like, oh, we want to do some cool animations or some cool 3D or just something to add to it.
Yeah,
I would recommend leaving your policy ID open so you could actually implement that easier. You know, and I think when Sean had minted False Idols at the time and Dirtbirds too, the popular belief was to close a policy ID. You know, so you couldn't, you know, fuck with someone's NFT.
Yeah.
For lack of better words. But so yeah, that's the 2 things. If you plan on making changes, doing animations or doing cool things in the community, I would leave the policy ID open. If you're one-of-one artist, it's probably best to close it, I would think, unless, you know. But, you know, for me, I might get wild and want music on my one-of-ones. And, you know, if it's closed, like, shit, I can't just retroactively do it. I'd have to make a copy plus or just airdrop music to my holders. There's always a way to do it. But I would recommend if you have any kind of cool ideas that you want to do down the road, like add this and this and this to your NFT, leave it open.
It's interesting with Dirtbirds that like the new ones are at like 700 ADA or something, and then the OGs are like still at 9 something, and it's like there's such a big discrepancy, and it's like this technically, you know, the same thing, but
yeah, I think it's just because the OGs, I think a lot of people, there may be some people who's like, well, this is the OGs, you know, you have new art plus a copy of one asset. Yeah. Even though you can't sell. So if you did the upgrade, I think those NFTs go to a ledger. And that's the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, they're no longer on the market ever again. They're just kind of locked there forever. But they're still on the blockchain, so you still have OGs that match the new Dirtbirds. Just without the new art. I think it's probably why some people are holding on to them, because they're like, well, wait a minute, if I get rid of this, I'm getting rid of like the original.
Yeah, I thought about holding on to one, and then I got carried away. I was like, let me just convert them all.
It's hard not to, because the new art's so good. And I don't know who the art, but it looks like someone that's either inspired or worked for Rick and Morty or worked in Adult Swim.
Yeah, I could see that.
And we won't be talking about Justin Roiland here.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
He's in a little bit of trouble.
I just heard about that the other day.
Yeah, he's in some boiling water right now. But you know, so was Dan Harmon too back in the day. I like what is it? I get to liking something. Yeah, and it's like they end up like, why can't you behave?
I know
they end up killing.
And you know what? And he may not. He may be innocent. You know, innocent until proven guilty. But it's like shit. Really?
I mean, some of those like chat logs are pretty brutal as far as like.
Yeah.
And it's
like, you know what? And the thing is, when I heard the way it was described, I was like, yeah, that sounds like Justin Roiland.
Yes. I mean, if you read the chat blog, it's just like it literally sounds like a Rick and Morty skit, but
that's what I was
they're thinking. They're pretty funny. Like it's fucked up, but it's pretty funny at the same time. So it's like hard because it's like, god damn it, even when he's being a creep, he's funny as hell. But hopefully he doesn't get charged, but we'll see. To be continued.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm a big, until innocent until proven guilty, because it may be just somebody
looking for
something out of
a payout
control payout. But it also could be real. I'm the type of person, I want justice regardless if I like the part of their work.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm still one of those people, Rick and Morty, I'm not like, I'm going to stop watching Rick and Morty. It's like, you sometimes have to separate the artist and the artwork itself. But there's plenty of things in history that I like.
Yeah.
That I don't like the people. And a good example, people, they like to bash on H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Because if you ever read H.P. Lovecraft's, there's a poem, I'm not even going to tell you the name of it. You can do your own research if you want to, that he wrote. It is not nice. He definitely hated some people.
Oof.
But
the Jews and the blacks.
Yeah, those two particularly, because he.
You know what though? But it's like everything has a time period, and it's like that's the thing that pisses me off about people. It's like they always forget to put yourself in the shoes of the people in the time period, and it's like, oh, I would never have slaves when slavery was legal in America. But it's like
bullshit.
When everybody in your family and all your friends have like slaves, it's like to say that you were the one who's going to be like, we need to abolish slavery. It's like you would have been murdered. like they would have murdered you in the South, you know? So it's
Yeah.
like so weird to like get on your high horse when it's easy because there's no repercussions. But when everyone's like coming down on you, and the common thing was to be like, this is okay, like this is how society works. It's like you don't have you know, that hindsight to be like this is okay. Like, so it's like, yeah, HP Lovecraft, like, but in that time period it was like it was okay to be anti-Semitic, right? It was like,
Yeah.
most people were Protestants.
Area,
yeah.
He was a WASP, which is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, and that's kind of their belief. And also, HP Lovecraft was more than likely on the spectrum.
I love Cthulhu, man. It's okay, you know.
Yeah,
like...
and I love Cthulhu. Yeah, and I just love his lore. So that's what I have to say. You know, you can disagree with the guy, and you can't. I don't want to retroactively judge the dead. You know, if they were still alive, yeah, you can kind of. You know, it's like, yeah, that wasn't such good behavior from you long ago. But you know, especially when they've passed and you enjoy their artwork, that's why I say sometimes you have to separate the artist from the work. Because I'm sure H.P. Lovecraft was not a joy to talk to.
Right.
Because I think he was, he had his manic and like his depressive episodes. He was poor. He was starving all the time. He wasn't getting recognition for his work. So I'm pretty sure he was not the. It's not like it's like, oh, he's just going to talk about Cthulhu and his mythos to me. It's like, probably not. He's probably going to go on some weird rant.
Yeah. Well, like
cool.
Calling names.
Even like Darwin,
you know,
too.
The cool thing about H.P. Lovecraft, guys, he's from Rhode Island.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah,
so,
he is.
Thanks for that.
And that's where a lot of his mythos actually is. There's one book. Well, they're not really books. They're like little like short stories usually. He would publish them to a magazine. I forget the name of the magazine. So they're usually short stories, but there is one that takes place in Rhode Island. And it's about crab people. And it's really creepy.
That's the sole reason Eric moved to Rhode Island.
Yeah, I wanted to be more like that anti-Semitic racist dude. Just kidding.
Folks, we're only joking here, folks. We're trying to make this light.
I would say like most artists are like kind of like a little nutty, or like that's the reason their art is so good. Like,
yeah, I can speak from experience. I may be a little nutty at times.
Yeah, like,
and that's why Eric only listens to R. Kelly and Michael Jackson and Kanye West.
Poor Kanye. I think that dude is having a
mental break.
All types of breakdowns.
A manic episode to end all manic episodes. Like, I think he's gone missing. Like, but it's sick. It's sick. Our society just like wants to like throw him on podcasts and like have him say crazy shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you know, when you went on Alex Jones, I'm like, he's not well, and these people are using him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Kanye will be here next week.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna plug it on my Twitter. Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Yeah, like put a microphone in front of him, just see what he says.
The important thing, even on blockchain, you're gonna have all this art, and there's gonna be all kind of controversies with artists. It's gonna be inevitable with artists on the blockchain.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, there was that huge conspiracy. Sorry to talk over you, but what was it? The big collection on Ethereum, the monkeys, Bored Ape.
Oh yeah,
they had that huge conspiracy video.
Oh yeah,
about them like with like the Third Reich, and like all this weird like Nazi propaganda, like and it's like, okay, like you can read into that thing too, but it's like, are they trying to brainwash society and make it okay to like think that way about?
I don't think so. My personal opinion, I think they're a bunch of like Tumblr and like 4chan kind of like shit posters that kind of had some success. They're like, whoops, we're in the mainstream now. So,
someone saw it.
Yeah. So I think that's what that's all about. Because if you look at the team, I mean, not to say that it'd just be really odd. I think the team is like what they're some are from India, some are from like Cuba, and I think none of them are what you typically would say. Oh yeah, German heritage or European heritage, Nazi.
Right.
And it's just like, and when a Nazi doesn't really exist anymore, besides I guess like a neo-Nazi, well, that's a whole different like skinhead biker thing.
One time on Twitter, someone was like, we were like, you know, the Baldo NFTs. we were like talking about those and posting those, and one of them was wearing like lederhosen and like had a little, it has a little beak with a little hair.
Oh yeah.
And someone was like, I can't believe you guys are like openly posting like Nazi imagery. Like, look into the artist. Like, this guy is bad. And we're like, what are you talking about? Like, just because he's wearing lederhosen and he has like a beak. And then, but like the guy was so like sure that it was, yeah. And it's like, I'm pretty sure it's not like that, but
yeah. And
I
think in
you
internet
think that way. So whatever.
In internet culture, people want to find a reason to tear something down. And I think that's in another interesting phenomenon. I think in today's modern world, we lack not really just exploration, but it seems like in the modern world, we kind of know what everything is. And so there's not a lot of mystery. And I think people are constantly going on that, basically searching for that thing. It's like, okay, this is evil. I'm going to be a hero. You point this out.
Right.
There's not a lot. There's not a lot of that anymore. And that even goes with like activists. I'm not going to name a group, but like when I went to art school, like, basically there's a lot of activism that goes on that's like, okay, you've got your rights, but you still keep pushing the goalpost forward. Not saying there's nothing to fight for now, but you've won the battle, but what's next? And they just keep pushing the last, where you get radicals, essentially, in any branch of religion or politics or anything like that, that starts out in good natured, but then once the fight's over, they can't stop.
Right. They don't know where to end, and they don't know. Yeah, I think also a huge issue with like Twitter too is like so much gets lost in the conversation when it's just texting back and forth. Like when you get to have a conversation with somebody like this, even you understand that they're like a human being with like, they grew up with like certain types of people, and like their ideas are just like an amalgamation of like a bunch of different ideas. And so when you see one image of one NFT that they made, and then like to blow it out of proportion and be like, well, this person's obviously a Nazi, like there's this propaganda here, and it's like, you're like, dude, just go talk to the person, see what they're like, you know what I mean? Like, but nobody does that type of due diligence where they're like really getting a full-fleshed human being, and like where their history comes from, like, because like most of us in America are like we grew up around all types of diverse people, so it's kind of odd to me when you see some of this stuff.
And I know I did growing up. My parents had run a pawn shop, and we're in a pawn shop industry. You meet a lot of people in like the pawn and like jewelry industry, and in the jewelry industry, there's a lot of Jewish people. So like, I remember from like an early age, like asking my dad, like, "What's the weird hat?" It's like a 3-4-year-old, like, "Oh, he's Jewish. He's a diamond dealer," and things like that. And I even met people. What was the one guy that gets on my dad's nerves? He's sweet though. He's got a nickname. I think it's Israeli Joe.
Okay.
Guy talks like 9,000 miles an hour. And I remember being at a watch show with him many years ago, like when I was 13 or 14. And my dad had this terrible migraine. And Israeli Joe's like, "Oh, drink water, more water." My dad's like, "I don't want any more water." I need like medicine. But yeah. But just growing up, I had been around all walks of life, Black, Hispanic, Jews, Arabs, Indians. We still got I still go to my parents' shop every once in a while. It's more of a jewelry store now, and I usually see the two Indian guys that come in. They're brothers. They've been doing jewelry work forever, and I'll go in, talk. It's like, "Oh, there's those two." It's like, I swear they don't age. Like they didn't look young when I remember them from a kid, but they still look the same, if that makes any sense. I'm like, it's just like, just don't look any different.
Brown don't crack.
I guess so. Well, I will say our friend Kimmy has aged a lot, and he's a black guy from Atlanta that does custom jewelry. He definitely has aged. He's got a lot more gray.
Yeah, but that's what I love about this space. It's like we all come from different backgrounds, and it's like I love when people put that type of history into their artwork and their NFTs, and they're proud of it. And it's when you think you're better than everybody else that it gets weird, or like you say your religion is better than somebody else's, but it's like when you're both raised in a different religion at the same time, it's just like how it's just weird to me when somebody expresses like superiority over another people
over others.
That's when it's like you start to, as you get older, you start to realize too, it's like that person maybe doesn't have like enough perspective on like life and society, or like has visited other cultures, you know, where they can see, they're like, oh, this place is just different, like their food's different, you know, they might have better food, or like, you know, the people are kind of the same. Like at the end of the day, we all kind of want the same thing. We're human beings. Like we want to eat, we want to have sex. What else? Like it's just not that different. You know what I mean? Like the thing that
it's the thing that brings us all together is the human condition. We all have the same needs and wants. And thinking about just religion, I remember growing up. So I didn't really go to church until I was like 16, which is kind of odd.
Okay, this interview's over. Turn off.
So, but yeah, I didn't really go to church, and that was like a big thing growing up for me. But I remember as a kid, like I said, I met people from all over the world in my parents' line of work. We were at a convention somewhere, and I remember there's people. They weren't just outside the bathroom; they were near the bathroom though, because that's where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all on the ground with the rug, and they were like, obviously, what it was, they were praying, but they're like, from a kid, I was like, they're chanting or doing something. And that's when my dad's like, what are they doing? And why are their shoes off? And things like that. He's like, oh, they're, I think they were Jewish, actually. It's like they're doing some kind of like blessing thing before they go eat. And before they go to the bathroom, they're doing some kind of, you know, thing. And, you know, the thing about feet, they clean the feet. And so, but as a kid, you know, it's like, it's just wild. But then I'm sure when you come from another culture and you go into a church, especially like an evangelical one, it's like, wild, you know, culture shock to you as well.
Yeah, or like the ones where they speak in tongues and stuff, like Baptist.
I call it the squirrel talk. It freaks me out.
Yeah, but like some people like just don't ever see that, you know, and then they're adults and they never see it, so it's like then it's like scary to them or something, or they just don't want to understand it.
Y'all have to actually, we talked about this last night on my Twitter space, Late Night Pizza. We kind of got into this topic. And we talked about, we did like typically how Late Night Pizza works. By the way, that's my new Twitter space every Saturday at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, or 4 a.m. UTC. And we talked about, you know, I had Muffet on Sean on last night, and they talked about, you know, the projects, gave updates, you know, how's life, did the whole like typical like NFT Twitter space. But since my art's very inspired from like mythology, like the paranormal and things like that, creatures, it's like it'd be kind of cool to just have like a paranormal kind of like space after you do basically the shilling portion of the show.
That would be sweet.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and so we just did the paranormal, and that part lasted way longer than the shilling portion. And
there's
this one podcast like or sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, we used to talk about ego. We were talking about as an artist, especially I went to an art school, I had to like shed my ego real quick, because as an artist you got to shed it to grow. And I think people, you definitely had artists back in the day that had egos, but today, since we're becoming more unified and globalized, you've always got someone that's better. And you have to kind of humble yourself and just like focus on yourself, and not, you need to compete with others, but you need to compete with yourself more. And if you shed that ego, you have room to grow.
Yeah, definitely. Plus, you can look at someone's like follower count, and like that gives them the ego. Like,
and that's a vain metric too, which I do want a higher follower count. But the reason you want a higher follower count is like when I was doing more and more artwork. You know, if I've got like 775 followers now, which is a pretty big increase from when I first started this account back in April. You know, I had like 5 followers. And you know, now I get more interactions, which is good. You know, typically 40 likes or something like that, so it's not quite the 10% I want, but you know, not a perfect world.
Right.
But the bigger number, you know, you're still only going to get that 10% or that 5%. So if you got like, you know, 100,000 followers, you know, you're getting 10%, you're getting 10,000 people, or 5%, 5,000 people, 3,000 people at least interacting with your post. And you got potential clients, potential links in life that can help you out with your career. And so when you have a bigger pool of people to see your work, it helps.
Yeah,
I think it's like
just like
as like you get older
after a while.
Well, as you get older too, you start to realize like as somebody who creates content of any like media, like art or video or anything, like there's the purity of the thing that you're trying to make, and then also there's the capitalistic endeavor of it too, where it's like at some point you'll need to make money to keep living. So it's like if you're solely down this artistic path where it's like I'm going to give everything to this thing, and then you give it out to the world and the world doesn't give it back to you, that's where your ego comes in, and you like some people will really get down on themselves and like be like, well, fuck, like I'm not the best, like obviously nobody wants this, like I'm a piece of shit. But it's like, no, that's like part of the process of failing, where you start to realize where it's like it's not just about creating art that you want to create, it's about making art that speaks to people and also connects those people. So it's like try to get feedback off of that, right? It's like it's that's the journey that you're on, where it's like that's what makes it worth it too, where it's like you start to change your art or something, or like maybe you just need to tweak one thing and then people will come. But it's like that's the fun part, where it's like people get down on themselves. They're like they look at one failure as everything, but it's like as long as you're alive and you can continue to make new shit and learn from your mistakes, that's the good stuff, right? Because like once you hit that point, once you hit that point of success, then it's like there's always going to be something else, right? But I think a lot of us are in that place.
And once people can't get past that, you know, I've experienced that in my artistic careers. Well, I had a bigger pop on like Instagram until they changed their algorithm. I was getting like 400, 500 likes per like post.
Mm-hmm.
They changed the algorithm, and 2020 happened, and I think I got flagged. I was doing a giveaway, and like I got flagged for spreading COVID misinformation because they had the COVID.
Oh my god!
At the top of their Instagram. I was doing a giveaway. It's like, yeah, they flagged my account for that, and they know. Must be like TikTok, so like usually posts don't do that well unless they're video.
Right. Yeah, they're moving everything to like shorts, right, to play with TikTok.
Yeah, and I still definitely want to do that. I'm not going to just give up and just like I can't do shorts. Like I'm going to start doing all that stuff, but like I really want to focus on the things I want to do, and then once that's done, I can start doing shorts. But it seems like right now Twitter is the excellent place to just post, updates and stuff like that, and I get pretty good interaction, not as good as I used to get. You know, the 500 or 400 likes I was getting. But, you know, those people, I was getting all those likes, but, like, they were engaging with the post, but they were never engaging with me. And I feel like on Twitter, I have the same people engaging with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm actually building a real following, which is nice.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, and, like, it was weird with Twitter. Like, for me, I hit, like, a peak, like, and then Elon took over, you know? And then it's like my follower count kind of went down, but then it's like going back up. So I'm like, I know they like got rid of a shitload of bots and stuff, but I'm like, are these bots like or like did they figure it out and now they're coming back?
And you don't want those bots on anyway. And I still get every once in a while. So, like it seems like I usually follow back a lot of the people that follow me, not all the time. Yeah, there may be some accounts like I'm not gonna follow that back. They're not a bot, but just no, not following you back.
I've been getting way more followers, and they're just like all hot chicks. So I'm just like all for it. And they just want.
I've been getting those too.
They want my wallet, but that's cool. I just gave it to them.
Yeah. They just said buy my Amazon wish list, and I live forever.
They're like blonde hair, blue-eyed chicks, but they can't. Yeah. They like have broken English, but they're from America, so
they're real, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, a lot of mine are. Actually, like I would say exotic looking women, you know, the Middle East or maybe in South America. So maybe I
gotta get on that chain.
So maybe they're I'm just trying to say you've been looking at a lot of blue-eyed and blonde chicks. So I think that's where they're getting that information from. Like even if you're not going to this kind of websites, but like you know if you're liking posts,
Eric,
and stuff like that, and it's like this girl has blonde hair, blue eyes, he'll like this.
I gotta start clicking on the more ethnically diverse chicks, I guess.
I guess yeah. Check yourself, bro. Yeah. But no, and I think we're always attracted to things that's not like us, at least for me, because like I have the blue eyes and more of the blondish kind of brown hair, dishwater blonde. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the girls that I had in the past have always been, dark complected, or I even dated a girl from Curacao.
Oh wow!
And she was I guess Afro-Caribbean / Dutch,
Nice.
That's a sweet spot.
Mix. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm all about it. It's like, if they're dark complected and, maybe from an island somewhere. It's like, yeah, I'm all for it.
Maybe you could live out there.
That's the dream.
Yeah, those places seem amazing. But I forgot what I was gonna say about Twitter, but I lost it.
It's a dumpster fire.
I can't wait. Can you guys
about,
wait for like a new social media platform on Cardano? Like, I'm so excited for somebody to make something like that. You know, like I keep looking at. I found like a place that's doing like video content on Cardano, and but it's like nothing's like
the one that rugged.
Not that one. No. But yeah, I don't know. Have you guys heard of anything coming online soon, or?
I haven't heard of it.
Not really.
The only thing I know that's
such a missed opportunity.
Social media is you got Ada Digis. They're doing Chain Lobby, which is like a social media kind of thing. And then you got Pixel Page Nano. I know right now it's just like a wallet kind of viewer, but they are planning on like integrating like social media like aspects to it. I know on I've actually spoke to Captain Nano, or what's his Bastion. I spoke to him at ZNFTCon and just in messages. And one of the things he's really wanting to do is like, if I have like, you have to have a link tree. So if I have like a bunch of collections under different policy IDs, I have to have like a link tree. Because a pain in the ass to look it up on JPEG Store. So actually, if you actually have a following, since it's actually like a Web3 platform, Nano's gonna be like, oh, here's my collections, and people can like follow those and actually see your work live. If you post something to that collection, they can see it live on their feeds and stuff instead of like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't have an ID, you released a new one of one. So it's supposed to be like a really cool integration, and I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, that sounds dope. I think there's like Project Noom, right? That does like music.
Yeah, Noom. Oh, those guys are awesome. I met them at CNFTCon as well. Yeah, it's is that fragmented music? Is that how that's working?
Something like that. I haven't really played with it. I don't even know if it's live yet. Like, do they have a I know. Like,
I think they've been releasing some music here and there, but the idea is like, so fragmented music. So it's like the idea of like they people started doing that with I think with NFTs on Ethereum, like a fragmented NFT. So like if you want to get a Bored Ape, you can buy like 10% of one.
Yeah.
You know, you get like, you know, cut it up into pieces. Like, oh, own 10% of this Bored Ape, blah blah blah.
Well, sounds like an awful idea.
Yeah, it is. And they do that with art too in the real world, with like paper trading, like art.
Yeah.
They will fragment like a Picasso or something, but no.
You only get like a strip of it.
Yeah,
on your wall.
With fragmenting music, though, the idea of it is that the one NFT is like the original track, but since music is meant to be shared and listened to, is that you're not buying it for like, oh, I own 10% of the song. Is like, oh, you get the full song, but it's fragmented from the original NFT, and so you pay like like iTunes, like you pay like $1 or like $2 for the song, or you get the whole track, and that's a fragmented NFT because that makes sense for music.
Yeah,
I guess if you're getting like royalties, then the fragmentation makes sense.
Yeah, and that's where it goes. It goes back to the artist.
Yeah, that's cool. What do you think of this?
Yeah.
What do you think of this little like this little pump we're seeing in crypto? Do you think it's you think it's anything, or is it?
It could be something, or it could be just a relief rally. You know, it's one of those things. I was looking at someone posted a chart today where it's like disbelief this rally's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. It's hard to know. You know, it has broken some good resistance areas here.
Yeah.
But what I fear though is that just the absolute market around us is just not ready.
Yeah.
For a bull market. I'm not feeling
bullish.
Like we're in pre 2020 times still. I feel like we're, I feel like the dollar's like, I go to the grocery store, like, here you go, sir. Here's your $100 of worth of groceries in a sack. Thank you. I bought water and a chicken.
Yes.
And some eggs.
No, but that's weird. It's like you said, no, I think most people feel that way just because of like the real world is so much more expensive now. Just like everything, like your gas, your electricity, and like the next thing you know, it's like, cool, like that extra money I was using to buy a couple JPEGs at the end of a paycheck, I don't have that anymore. So there's no way this market can come back already. But also, it's like the adoption of cryptocurrency as a whole, like the more and more it's out there in the news, I just think there's so many people that aren't in that, even if like 1,000 people buy like $10 at Cardano or whatever, like it just like tends to move things up, and it's like I just think,
and that may be what we're seeing. We may be just seeing people entering the market.
It just raises the floor, and it's like,
yeah,
it's Cardano is so ridiculously cheap for where the platform is. I just think like it's like gonna continue to rise, like, and you see it kind of outperform everything else when everything does go up, you know. And I think that's just gonna keep happening as things evolve, and like we get more stuff like, you know, like this analytics platform for False Idols, and just like all these little tiny things, they start to add up, you know, and people aren't paying attention because like the space just keeps growing so much. It's hard to follow everything, you know, and so it starts to pop.
It's like a lot of noise on TV. You know, when I mean noise on TV, I don't mean like the channels, but I mean like, you know, like that static, like white noise. Like it's really hard in the space. Like I feel like there's something always going on, and I was like, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like for some reason the shit that I see is like the shit I don't want to see.
Yeah.
You know, like I see. Actually, I'm just gonna call them out. This Ancient Dragon Alliance that just came out, or Ascendance. It's all like copied art, and I keep seeing it on my feed. I'm like, yeah, this is some bullshit.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Do we even?
I've never seen that.
Ancient Dragon Ascendance. You can see them on JPEG Store.
All right, let me check them out. Let me
they
pop it up.
Or they already minted?
They already minted, yeah. And like they're one of the ones that I saw were a blue-eyed white dragon, toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, and dragon that they stole. Yeah. So if you look at some closer stuff, like I see some people, like if you look at some of their stuff, like they're like, it's obviously like been like copied from the internet. There's like a few like PNGs where you still like see like the shadow where they erase it all.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, see if you can see they're one of ones though.
All right.
Pretty bad, I would say.
Like go to the
I just see shit like this on my feed, and I don't appreciate it.
So and this is like you're saying this is all copy paste, or what are we talking here?
Copy paste. Yeah, I want to see what I saw because we did a whitelist review on them.
The Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah, and I saw Kenny, our mod, like, oh yeah, here's 3 of their one of ones or something. It's like a Blue Eyes White Dragon.
I don't even know how to look for
this.
One of ones.
See if you can find a trait that's just got like 1.
Yeah. Go to like head.
So like these guys?
Head. See if you can find it. Nope.
Click the little eye.
And
or eyes. It's probably blue eyes.
Go to like eyes or like
Yugi.
Yeah, Yugi right there.
They're not even.
Yeah, there they are.
This guy?
Yeah. There you go. That's just Blue Eyes White Dragon.
From Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yep. Of course, that's not even loading up. I guess you go there still or that GIF right there.
JPEG's popping off today, man.
Whatever, yeah, you can obviously tell it's Blue Eyes White Dragon.
And this is just a cash grab or something?
Yeah, I think so. Which I could be wrong, but I've just seen I've seen some people like post like, oh, here's their logo on their clothes, and you can like see like the square PNG, like the shadow of it. Like they didn't erase all the PNG, like they didn't have to get rid of the box.
So do you know like what happens when like something like this gets into the top 10? Like how does that? Are they wash trading, or what do you think is happening?
I think it's a combination of wash trading, and I think it's some of the same people that release these other projects. So once they do really good on one of these rugs or whatever you call them, they just keep, it's the same Fiverr artist or same whatever, they just kind of keep propping this shit up because it's like number 2.
They always get in the top 10, and it's like they're there for a week.
And it's like, why do I want to see that? Like, you know, I'd rather see like, you know, Block Owls is in the top 12. They deserve to be there. Tavern Squad is in the top 12. They deserve to be there. And Tavern Squad's not even my favorite art, but at least it's hand drawn. It's real.
And it has like utility and stuff.
Yeah, they got a game.
Space Buds. That's a whole other thing. They're working on their.
There are 2.0.
Clay Nation. I'm not big. I've never been big into clay. Like, I mean, just as a kid, like the claymation stuff always kind of freaked me out. But Clay Nation, original.
Yeah.
They deserve to be there. They're doing good things. Book.io, they're there. Ori Mob, like I said, it's not my cup of tea, but they deserve to be there. It's like a lot of these Makosi, they definitely deserve to be there. A lot of these projects deserve to be there, but then you got this one right here. That's like, why?
It's like, where did that come from? And like, no one's buying NFTs right now, but for some reason they're buying these dragons. Like,
yeah, and they had like a dragon. They had like a 3D dragon collection too. It was like a token to get the thing. It was like a 3D sculpture thing.
What are your thoughts on the like the VIP passes to mint the 10,000 collection? Like, do you think that's a good way for the space to be going? Because I feel like a lot of new projects are doing that to like.
Yeah, I personally feel like that's like, pay us to get the thing. You know, you're paying for the privilege of buying the thing.
Yeah,
and I don't like that. Like, if you're gonna do that, honestly, and you want to like, because I understand not wanting to hand out whitelist spots, and people just kind of like, I'm not going to mint this, even though I got this whitelist spot, because you're wasting a lot of people that probably would have minted for whitelist. If you're going to do that, if you're going to do a VIP pass, your NFT, let's just use 100 as a round number, it's 100 ADA for the mint it. Then if you buy the pass, which is like 20 ADA, your mint should only be 80 ADA. So you're still paying the same amount. I don't think it should be like, oh, the pass is 100 ADA, and then the regular mint is also 100 ADA. That's bullshit. Just release something. Don't. That sounds like you're trying to funnel money out of the community.
Yeah. Do you find?
What do you think?
Do you think? I don't know. Like there's so many different ways to go about it, and each project is doing their own kind of. Like Ormob has like their rings and their burner phones that they're doing, which kind of like lets you into certain Discord chats, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But it's
I
like,
say as long as there's something more than just the privilege of buying something, if
right.
you're offering something else, I think that's okay.
I'm not mad at it, but
if
also
they do it to like test the waters to see like how many people will actually mint, so they can decide a mint number or something.
That's what's cool about art too. It's like there's so many different ways to go about it. Like Block Owls, like they do smaller collections, but they have like 6 or 7, and each one's like Hydra, Basho, like Plutus,
Plutus, or they have right now. They've got another mint upcoming. I guess next year, whenever it's gonna be done, they're working on it. It's called the Jobby Z collection. So it's not a Block Owl. So it's like the enemies of the Block Owls,
okay.
Like the antagonist. And the way they're doing their whitelist for it is like, I have 2 Block Owls. I have like not a common, like I guess it's uncommon. Then I got like a very rare, and I forget the point system. But if like you have like one, if you have a Block Owl from each collection, or if you have like enough owls from this collection, basically I think it's 5 points gets you a whitelist for the Jobby Z. And I'm pretty sure I've either got 1 or 2 whitelists, I think, for the points I have just for my 2. So that's why I've seen them. Yeah, that's why I've seen them back in the top 10 or the top 12, because that's how their whitelist is working. Is that you buy, if you have a bunch of Block Owls, you're basically getting whitelisted. If you don't have any Block Owls, you can buy 1 from each collection, or you can buy like a rare one or whatever one you want, and you're probably going to get a whitelist. After they just gotta get the points, and then of course they're going to give out whitelists too, but that's part of their whitelist program. I think it's kind of a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's rewarding the holders more than anything. Because you have seen some sell, but like I hold 2 myself, so I'm already guaranteed. I need to see how they're doing their points again, because they're going to release a chart, because they got so many damn owl collections. This gets you this many points. The only thing you're not getting points for are the stories collections, because those are all airdropped. So
that's my only issue with some of these things. It's like, as somebody from the outside looking in, it's hard to like, especially with like having so many different NFT collections, like creating that narrative, right? Where I don't like, I'll look at the block goals, I think of the images like it's really cool, but then I don't know where to start. Like I don't know, like if I'm buying the right thing. You know, I might be buying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh
yeah, I was the same thing too. 'Cause I've only got things from Hydra collection. That's like the OG collection, and you have to do a lot of research on it because they got a Tiger Pool collection.
yeah. So
They've got the Plutus collection. They've got the C11 collection.
Yeah.
And it's just with block owls. I think that is probably my only gripe. Even with their ranking system, it's like it's really confusing what's what.
right, and
Even
it's
though
like
it all looks good, like none of the owls, like even if you minted a common, it's like that's a
they're beautiful.
I got a common one, a poop. They're all beautiful.
Yeah, they're great. I love it. It's so cool and it's unique and it's different
Yeah.
than most things. But it's like I don't know what I'm buying. I don't know what it gives me access to, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. You know, like
Yeah, I think it's. I think we're getting to, and it's something that's what I want to delve into as well. And I think it's going to go back to the book IO thing because I like to write, and I've been wanting to publish some stuff for a long time and do some art for it. I was like, well, it'd be kind of cool if we did it on the blockchain.
that'd be awesome.
And did it like like the art I did, like all the art comes in like a PDF that's hosted. I'd like to host it on chain or some kind of decentralized cloud service. But it'd be kind of cool, like you bought the art with it, and then you get access to like the book, and then maybe you can have like IRL releases too. I still got to work that out, but that'd be kind of cool. I think you'd have a community that's really interested in doing that. You know, where your utility is like the brand itself.
Yeah.
You know, being a part of like kind of like a GoFundMe in a way. I think you're gonna have two kind of projects. You're gonna have stuff that's like utility based and it's got some cool art. Then you're gonna have some stuff that's more the utility is the brand, the entertainment it brings. And how do you reward your holders? Which right now with the laws and stuff, like if I were to set up in Portugal, you could do like, since your original holders from the funds we make from our YouTube or from our movies and stuff or our books, you get like funds back via staking or airdrop, but you can't do that in the States because that is illegal.
Securities.
And that would be kind of awesome to do. I don't see a problem with that myself.
What are your thoughts on the whole?
Awesome.
Have you been keeping up with the JPEG controversy?
Oh yeah. I was actually going to bring that up on my late night pizza, but it went on for 3.5 hours last night in my space, and I decided that the shilling portion lasted like an hour and some change. I was like, man, if we go into the news, we're never going to make it to the paranormal bit. And we already kind of talked about art and culture too, which is part of the whole space. And I was like, I was going to skip the news on this one. I think because I think that good test run is like, I think we're just going to do shilling of the projects, good stuff. And I may even bring some projects on where I just light their ass on fire too. I'm not opposed to doing that. But once we got through that, it's like people who came here for the paranormal, and I got a really good response of people doing that. It's like, this is like coast to coast AM. You're like, please keep doing this.
Yeah,
like every Saturday.
George Norrie.
George Norrie, and what was the other guy he referenced? I think Brett something.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it's on my Twitter. But yeah, I had a fun time doing that space. But yeah, let's go back to the news though. Yeah, the Fettuccine versus Blake. So, personally, I think Fettuccine would have had problems down the line if Blake hadn't did what he did. But there's probably some missing context. Like, did Blake have to message Fettuccine about it? Like, hey, I'm reporting your ass to the SEC. Could he just done it anonymously? Maybe Blake has a backbone. He's like, you know what? I'm going to report you to the SEC, but I want to let you know. Because my dad taught me not to do that. He taught me, like, if you're going to do something, tell them what's wrong. So I'm pretty sure there's things that we haven't seen or heard. But what do you think, though?
I get where he's coming from because he's like, he has this like huge monopoly on the JPEG marketplace, and he wants to make sure that like he doesn't get undercut by somebody just like creating a token and then sharing that with everybody, which I think is a really great idea, and it creates some type of decentralized marketplace, which I think is really cool because right now it's like whatever JPEG store wants to show, they'll show, and what they don't, they don't. So that leaves out some people, I love decentralization. I want a bunch of marketplaces, and I think there's room for it. Like, you're looking at the front page of JPEG Store and you're seeing Book.io, which is like books. You're seeing action adventure games like Tavern Squad. you're seeing one of one art, and all these things are put together, but it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like if someone's looking for a game to like invest into, like with NFTs, like show them that and only show them that category. Where it's like with all this stuff, it's like you don't know where to start. You know what I mean? You don't know like what are you interested in. And so if you had different marketplaces that sold to different people, I think that would be such, like it would just kind of grow the space exponentially. And I just I'm not the type of person who thinks of like that there's only a little bit for some people. Like I think there's enough here for everyone to make a good living.
And something I was talking to actually Ed Crams about, because I was wanted to do like a bigger project like story based when I get to that point. And I've got a few. We were kind of brainstorming some ideas, but I've got a lot of stuff on the back burner that I've wrote through college and even here more recently. I was like, you know what, this could be like a really cool project, and it'd be kind of cool if like holders got airdropped like basically the media, like they get media themselves, but like, you know, you're buying like a bundle. So if you mint the NFT, you get like 25 bucks, 25 games, and then you can sell those if you want to, or you can just keep them.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be kind of cool, because in that way you're not like, it's not as scary as like, oh, we gave you 25 things, do what you want with them.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of like us fighting. Like I think the space is way too small for us to be like bashing each other, and I just think it looks bad to other people like on other chains, and it feels like very unwelcoming. Sure.
And I feel like a lot of people like to get into the drama or like the tea of it. And like to focus on that. And you know, that's one of the reasons I actually avoid that on the late night pizza. Not that I'm adverse to talking about the news, because I didn't want to like, you know, cause more controversy or drama. I just wanted to like, you know, get people's opinions on it, see what they think. But, you know, really, I think a lot of people have just done enough of that, you know, kind of stirring the pot. You know, they're either bandwagon Fettuccine or bandwagon Jake, and I'm neither. I like both of them.
Yeah.
I want there to be a good competition with the JPEG store, and whether what Jake did was right or wrong, you know, it's up to people and Fettuccine to decide. You know, if he feels like he's been wronged, then he feels like he's been wronged.
Right. I'm not, but like from what it read, like it seemed like he wasn't doing the amount of due diligence on being like, when you drop these tokens, it might be a security, so make sure you have your lawyers.
Security, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know, I think that'd be a bad look down the road.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got this Cardano guy. He didn't do his due diligence, and look at that, he broke the law.
Yep, and now we can't use these tokens.
And that creates more, and that creates more of a stigma around the space.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, see, I told you, it's all going to go to illegal anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think Fettuccine is probably, and he's probably hurt because how much do you have to spend to fix the problem?
Yeah.
And that's better than going to jail and dealing with the SEC.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're creating a small business, right? And you want to make sure all your, you know, you cross your T's and dot your I's. And, you know, if you're making this thing for the future, for the next decade, it's like, you don't want something like that to like cause a hiccup, and then down the road you have a 10 times bigger issue.
Anything I did, like I said, like doing like book or like game drops, I think that'd be kind of cool. Like, you know, you get like game drops every month or like book drops every month. You can sell them, you can hoard them, but you have to check with like, you know, your regulators, like, is that legal?
Or just do it anonymously.
Yeah.
Well, just make a pizza pineapple account, and then
and that's the funny thing about my pineapple pizza account is a lot of people, you know, people's like, why'd you choose that name? It's like, well, I got into the NFT thing, and it's like, it's just gonna be like a trading account because I want to be in the community.
Yeah.
But then lo and behold, I got into the artwork because people just came around to do art, and people really loved it, and they made connections. I was like, well, I guess I'm pineapple pizza. I'm kind of stuck with the name.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like some of those YouTubers, like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, I'm not at that level yet, but like where they chose a name, like, oh yeah, it's fun. We're just gonna do this fun YouTube thing. Then it's like it becomes part of their character. It's like shit. So I'm stuck with like pineapple pizza, but you know what? I don't mind it.
It's not a bad name.
No.
All right, pineapple pizza. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we close this one out?
I think that's it. Just remember at the beginning of February we'll be doing our animated idols.
Nice.
So that'll be good. And then Sean's gonna release an update on Pyro here soon.
Okay, and so that'll be This month?
I'm thinking next. I'm thinking next week.
Okay.
So we
Awesome.
may release an update on Pyro. Not for sure, because he's always telling me, he's like, oh yeah, I think I got this login fixed or whatever. Then it's like, okay, not yet. And you know how development goes. It's not easy.
No,
especially it's just him and one other guy, and potentially another guy, which I can't talk about who that is.
Okay.
Just yet. So
awesome.
Rhymes with Phil Yates.
yeah, that guy.
All right, man. Thanks for joining. It was a good conversation.
It's nice talking to y'all. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, man. Have a good one.
Talk to you later.